Welcome to an Insight Perspective, where I explore leadership insights that go beyond the obvious. In this newsletter, I explore the topic of ownership. If a problem keeps coming back, could the pattern be something to do with you? Have you ever felt like there's that one persistent issue that just won't go away? Maybe it's a team member who doesn't step up. Maybe it's a toxic pattern in your organization's culture, a recurring health issue, a family dynamic that drains you, or maybe a behavior in a loved one that keeps triggering you. You've had the tough conversations, you've tried new tactics, searched for insights. Still, the cycle repeats and it's exhausting. They don't change, nothing shifts. What if that persistent problem isn't just something to fix, but an invitation to cover or uncover a deeper pattern in yourself? In this edition of An Inside Perspective, I am exploring a powerful shift in how leaders create sustainable results, and it doesn't require working harder. It starts with stepping out of the drama triangle and into an ownership mindset. Let's explore this. Well, starting with the traditional mindset, which looks like if only they would change. When something goes wrong, our first instinct is often to look outside ourselves, focus on the problem, hold someone accountable, push them harder. There's an adrenaline rush to that, a sense of progress, control, accomplishment. And it often works until it doesn't, especially in those sticky, repeating dynamics, the ones that wear you down, drain your energy, and keep circling back. Because if it's always about them or that, you're stuck reacting. You're chasing change instead of creating it. And often, you're focused on something you don't fully control. That's when we slip into a subtle but familiar role. We blame, we rescue, we feel stuck. And without realizing it, we end up in a cycle that feels strangely satisfying, but never solves the real issue. This is the drama triangle. According to the Conscious Leadership Group, when we operate from fear, whether it's a fear of losing control, not being liked, or feeling unsafe, we unconsciously step into the drama triangle, playing one or all of these roles. We either become the hero, where we tell ourselves, cannot handle it, I'll fix it, or a role of a villain. They're the problem, I'm right, they're wrong. Or maybe the role of a victim. This is happening to me and I'm stuck. Each role, the hero, villain, or victim, offers short term relief. We feel important or righteous or needed. But the long term cost of this is frustration, burnout, disconnection, and powerlessness. Then come the subtler tolls around decision fatigue, quiet cynicism, passive resistance, and eroded trust eventually. Let me give you a real world example: the CEO and the sales head. One of my clients, a CEO, was stuck in this triangle. His head of sales had gone from high performer to checked out, playing golf and throwing parties while the company faced serious market threats. The CEO had tried everything: feedback, incentives, even ultimatums. Nothing worked. The sales head consistently deflected accountability and shifted blame somewhere else. Firing him wasn't simple. He had been instrumental in past successes and he'd built a team that respected and trusted him. Losing him could have jeopardized investor confidence, which the CEO wasn't willing to risk. So frustrated, the CEO vented to me. I'm doing everything to keep this company afloat while my sales head gets to coast. This isn't right, but I feel stuck. Well, he was blaming in the role of a villain, rescuing others by overworking in the role of a hero, and feeling helpless and resentful in the role of a victim. From the outside, his reaction totally looked understandable. But from the inside perspective, a more powerful question emerged. How might I be enabling this pattern to continue? He asked himself. That's when things began to shift. Let's look at what ownership mindset really means. Ownership isn't about taking blame, and it's definitely not about taking responsibility for things outside of your control. It's about taking full responsibility for your part, your choices, your patterns, your stories, your responses. You can't control others, but you can influence them by choosing the energy you bring into the room, the boundaries you set or don't, and the meaning you assign to what's happening. In this case, the CEO began to recognize how his own frustration was leaking into meetings, draining morale, and reinforcing a cycle of emotional reactivity. He was working harder than anyone, unintentionally rescuing others who needed to step up, and in the process, creating a cycle of toxic dependency, not ownership, a pattern he recognized from his personal life as well. Through our coaching work, the CEO began to step out of the drama triangle. He acknowledged his tendency to overfunction and took ownership of how he had contributed to the very dynamic he resented. He shared candidly with his leadership team, naming how his own behaviors had taken power away from others. Then, he set a clear direction, clarified expectations, and invited the team to step into real responsibility. And as his own leadership shifted, so did the response from his sales head. Not from fear or pressure, but from a renewed sense of engagement. So, next time, try this. Notice the triangle. The next time you feel stuck, ask yourself, what role am I playing? Am I being a victim, a villain, or a hero? What am I getting from this role? Am I getting approval, control, safety, a feeling of maybe being unique? These are all human needs. And finally, what is this costing me? Energy, clarity, trust? And then ask the ownership question. What's my part in keeping this stuck? And what can I do differently? Coming next, the circle of influence. In the next issue, I'll introduce a practical tool for taking action once you've made the shift out of the drama triangle and into ownership. But for now, remember, you don't need to fix the problem, you need to step out of the pattern. That's how lasting change begins. If this resonated with you, make sure to subscribe for future insights. And if you have thoughts or questions, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening.